Good morning, Blue Collar Nation. My name is Luke C. Marcotte, and this is the Blue Collar Power Hour. So today's going to be a little different. I'm going to call it On the Road Again. The reason is that I haven't been able to keep up with my 2 podcasts a week because I've been so swamped, so busy, and it's just been so hectic that I just haven't had the time to sit down and really do it. So I'm going to have to do it in my truck. So this may be a little awkward. I don't have any kind of mount or anything for my truck, so it's just sitting here in the dash and I'm driving around. Just finished up at the old bank and heading around, just checking out a few jobs today. I was also really sick and lost my voice, so I'm just getting a little better off of that. So that'll help too. That way you guys can actually hear me. It's kind of hard to do a podcast with no voice. So I got sick from working outside. I was hanging LED lights on the side of a commercial facility, new wall packs and running conduit and all of that. And so guys, if you're working outside, if you're in the northern states like I am, I mean, it was like 12 degrees here in Michigan, and make sure you bundle up. It's hard because my body sweats very easily. I get very hot, and then when I get very hot, I get very uncomfortable. It's like my body kind of shuts down type thing. So I didn't wear a whole lot because I knew I'd be hot. But the hard thing is that you get hot, you start to sweat, but then if you're sitting there in the cold with sweat on you for even, I mean, if it's 12 degrees with a wind chill getting you down to 0 degrees, and you're covered in sweat and not wearing much, it doesn't take long for your body to drop below your actual temperature you need to be, and then you get cold like I did. So just make sure you bundle up and stay safe out there. You don't want to risk working more days just for trying to get something done on a bad day, especially when a week later, there was a nice day. It was like 38 degrees. So what do we want to talk about today? What do we want to talk? What do you guys want to know? All right, comment below. What do you guys want to know when we talk about this stuff? Sorry about the truck noises. If you hear the road, my heat or anything like that. I'm in the old trusty 2011 Ram 1500 that not sure how trusty it really is. And the roads here in Michigan are pretty subpar. So we'll see how this turns out. What do you guys want to know? What's some tips that I can give you? I'm just shooting from the hip every video, which is fine, but if there's anything in particular you want to know, leave a comment below and I'll be sure to address it in the next video. So today we're going to talk about work ethic, all right? Work ethic is the most important part of your entire life. There are a few things go into your work ethic that people don't talk about, all right? Yes, you can get a job and you can just work that job, and you can work that job hard, and you can be considered to have a good work ethic. But maybe it never takes you anywhere. Maybe you're just working your ass off because that's what people just generically told you what to do, but you aren't going anywhere. You ain't climbing the ladder, you ain't being any happier. Because you can work as hard as you want all the time, but if you ain't working smart, you aren't going to get any traction. And if you only work smart but you don't work hard, you'll never get anywhere, but you'll have the right direction. And so you got to combine the two together. You got to find your passion. You got to make a vision for yourself of what you want to do. Where do you see yourself in a year, 5 years, 10 years? All right, when I was first starting, I knew I wanted to open my electrician company, and a big electrician company. If you ask me what my goal was when I was 16, I wanted to revolutionize an industry. And I had chose the electrician industry as my industry, all right? And so that was my lifelong goal. And then in 4 years, I wanted to be running jobs. I ended up doing it in about 2.5 years. I started to run my first jobs, all right? But then in 6 years, I wanted to be a project manager for a larger company running bigger projects. And in the 7th year, after I got my master, I wanted to start my electrician company, which I am doing right now. And so I had a vision, I had goals set up. And so that way I knew what I was working for every single day. When I went up to work, I have never gone to work for money, all right? Making money, yeah, it's a part of life. It's a huge part of life, and some say it's the only part of life. But, making money is a huge, huge, huge part of your entire existence. But I have never woke up specifically to go and work for money in my life. is a subset of that goal. So if your goal is to be a project manager and 6 years from starting, well, guess what? When you hit that goal and you're working for it, then you're doing everything you need day by day to hit that goal. And once you do hit that goal, I promise you the money will follow with it. All right? Because if you're doing everything it takes to get that position that you want within that 6th year, then people are going to recognize it. They're going to recognize your work ethic it took to make that goal achievable. And so you're going to make the money required to actually put that, make it worth your time for doing that position, right? And so if you're worried about money, there's never a problem to make more money. This is the United States, all right? Even if you're in other countries, a lot of countries are great too, but this is the United States, all right? There is never a problem with trying to make more money, okay? I know guys that were just electricians, that weren't even running jobs, that weren't even a project manager, that were making over like 150 grand a year, okay? Now they're working a shitload of hours for it, but you know, they were in the position they wanted. They just worked more hours to make more money because they didn't want to go to a different position. They were happy where they're at. There are people that move their way up to a vice president of an electrician company, of a trades company, whatever it is, in whatever trade you chose, and they can make multiple hundreds of thousands a year. You know, there's guys that transition from selling, you know, like, or being a plumber to selling plumbing fixtures for a company and making multiple hundreds of thousands a year. There's so many different opportunities within your one trade that you don't have to look around. Stop looking around and focusing on other things. Stop being a plumber and trying to start an app building company if you're not super passionate about the app building. If you're totally passionate about like building an app, then go be an app builder. Don't be a plumber. But you know, in all reality, it's going to be easier to make money faster, sooner, and probably more money in the long run as being a plumber. And if you can find your passion in that trade that you're doing, the sky is limitless. You just got to set goals. You got to find what you want to do. So first of all, find the trade you want to be in if you're not already started in the trade. And make sure that you can find your passion in that trade. All right? Then define goals, whether it be 6 months, a year, 10 years, 20 years. But don't set goals for 30 days, 90 days, 60 or 6 months, you know? Because nothing's going to happen in that time. Everything that's worth fighting for takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of devotion to it. Anybody can work hard for 90 days towards a goal. But if you can work 7 years towards a goal and make it happen, then I promise you, if you gave it everything that you had and you achieve that goal, the rewards that come off of it will be just a bonus combined with the fulfillment you get with achieving that goal. So you've got to set long-term goals. Now let's say you show up and you're a drywall apprentice on your first day, and where you are right now is where you would be happy staying for the rest of your life. And there's people that are like that. Well, your work ethic based off that doesn't need to be a whole lot. I mean, you can just show up and be an average worker. I mean, you should always try and show up on time. You should always show up on time. There's no excuse for not showing up on time. That's bullshit. If you need extra 10 minutes of sleep, go to bed 10 minutes earlier. If you take too long on your lunch, just don't take too long on your lunch. Just fucking eat it and get out there and work, all right? There's basics like that you should just always follow. But if your goal is to just be an apprentice forever, which some people it is, and there's nothing wrong with that, then you know you don't have much to really try and do better at. Because as an apprentice or a helper, the only thing you're really doing is just trying to help the person that is the tradesman per se. You're the person that's handing them tools. You're getting everything lined up for them. If you're a mason and you're trying to get all the blocks laid out for everybody, you're setting up scaffolding so that the masons are ready to roll on their next wall, then You know, you got to be the best you can at it, because that's what you want to be. But now, if you just show up as a mason's apprentice, helper, whatever the hell you want to call it, on the first day, and you just start working your balls off, that'll get you recognition, and you probably will move up the ladder. But if you have a defined goal where you want to be in that company, and you tell your superiors exactly what goal you want to be and when you want to hit it, and then ask them what are some things that you can do better to help yourself get into that position. Don't ask them that, hey, what do I have to do to be here, and do you promise me to be there if I do these things? Because, you know, that's not how it works. Now, if it was guaranteed, anybody could do it, obviously. You got to fight for it. You got to do the best you can every single day in any aspect of your life. So determine these goals, and if you want to be a project manager of a construction company in 4 years, let's say, well, then you're going to have to be showing up early. You're going to have to show up when the project manager of that project gets there. You're going to have to interact with him, try to learn from him, even if it's on your own time. You're going to have to try and, you know, maybe take him out to dinner and learn something from him. You're going to have to stay late. You're going to have to get interactive with the blueprints and learn what this means and why it's like this. You're going to have to get interactive with management and how things are laid out and why they're laid out that way. And you're going to have to start realizing things like scheduling and how people are sent to the jobs and what point in time of the project and why they were sent that way. And you just gotta start looking at it in more of a business mindset if you're getting into the project management, you know. And sometimes it comes into reading books, going the extra mile. If you want your career to go the extra mile, you've got to be willing to go the extra mile in your efforts first. But set your goals. You got to find out what it is, and then based off those goals, the larger the goal in the shorter amount of time, the more effort you're going to have to put in. I set very unrealistic goals for myself, and I did twice the amount of work I had to so that I could hit them goals. But then in a result, I hit every single one of them goals sooner than when I was supposed to. All right? But that's because I was working 40 hours a week on top of high school. I didn't get the chance to play sports. Some of y'all played football, hockey, whatever. I was poor, all right? And my only goal in life was to be killing it in business and doing this for you guys and being a tradesman, being the best tradesman I can be. And so I didn't get the chance to play sports. I couldn't play sports, all right? I didn't have the money to do it. My parents didn't have the money to do it. I had to pay for all my clothes, my food, my phone bill, my insurance, my truck, everything. And so I was working 40 hours a week on top of high school, all right? That's a lot of effort. That's a lot of stress for somebody that hasn't even, quote unquote, been in the real world yet, all right? And, you know, there's days when I was a junior in high school where I would be so stressed that when I get super stressed, a few things happen. One of my eyelids just starts twitching like crazy. The other thing, you know, my back just locks up into a giant knot, and it just kills, and I can hardly walk. And so I'm a junior in high school dealing with these kind of stresses because I'm taking on so much in such a short amount of time. And, you know, and then as soon as I graduated, I was working 80 to 100 hours a week. And this is for the contractor I work for. You know, we would be working 6, 7, 10s or 12s or anything like that. Anytime there was a weekend work or a service call, I'd be the first one they'd call. I'd show up to the job at sometimes 4 a.m. and not leave until 10 p.m. I would take on night shift immediately after working the whole day shift. There were days where I worked 24 hours straight. And, you know, there's people that always talk about, man, back in my day, I used to work hard, but they ain't got nothing to show for it. And the reason for that being is they didn't plan. They didn't have goals. There was no reason behind it. If your only reason behind it and goal is to do it just to tell people for the next 20 years how you worked a 24-hour day, well, what's that going to do? It's fucking nothing, right? I had a goal behind it. So when I was doing it, it was specifically for a specific reason to get me to a certain point in area at an appointed time. So you've got to set goals. Set a certain date to the fucking date to the damn near hour, okay? And then base your work ethic off that. Because, I mean, you can have a work ethic and then sometimes you just need a serious work ethic like I had. And it's not bragging, putting me up on this like high tower saying I'm great and whatnot. I just knew that I didn't want to be where I was. I was not happy just being in a business, I wanted to be running stuff. I wanted to be using my brain. I wanted to be scaling up in a company. I wanted to be getting my company going, and so there's just so much more that goes into it. So I had to put a whole lot more into it than a normal person. Now, there'll be people around you, like for me, that were your friends that you would pass in a short amount of time, and they would get mad, and they would ask, why him? And then some people equated to, hey, this guy's just like blowing the boss or something like that, where you're just brown nosing. I mean, you don't want to be a brown noser, but you want to build relationships with people, as we talked in a previous podcast. Relationships are everything in life. So determine your goals, set dates for them. Where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? And like I said, I set a goal. I wanted to be, when I started my apprenticeship at 16, I didn't want to wait till I graduated at 18. I did whatever it took to get an apprenticeship at 16 years old. I'd have people telling me, like, dude, how the hell are you working like that at this age? Like, I tell my friends' parents that I'm working as an electrician. And like, what? Like, how are you doing that already? It's because I set that goal at a certain appointed time, and I went after it, and I killed it. And I wanted to be able to run jobs. And I set the goal for 4 years. Because running jobs, that's a huge step up. And, I had a hard learning process for the first 2.5 years of my apprenticeship. But at the end of that, between the 2.5 to 3 year mark, that's when I started getting to run crews. And so that's the next step up. And then in 3 years, I started running my own jobs. And you know what? I started getting paid more money than my goal had even projected, that I even thought I could. But because I was bringing so much value to the table, because I was bringing so much work ethic and hard work to the table, that people were willing to pay me more than what I had originally even thought. So where do you want to be? And not everybody's meant to run a company, because trust me, running a job is hard, running multiple jobs is hard, estimating jobs is hard, and running a company is a completely different animal. It's almost like take everything you've learned in your past and throw it away and relearn. And learning how to run a business and start a business and market and sell, it's been a crazy experience for me as well. Just like going through a whole nother apprenticeship, only 10 times more expensive, 10 times less money coming back to you at the beginning, and all of that. So if your goal is to run a business, I'm not trying to dissuade you from that. I mean, I don't give a shit. If you're in my way, chances are your ass is getting steamrolled anyway. But if your goal is to run a project, then set that goal. Be that person. If you want to be a foreman, like a site superintendent, the guy that's laying out the blueprint, what kind of site superintendent do you want to be? Do you want to be doing residential projects where you're laying out landscaping for custom homes? Do you want to be running heating and cooling systems through large factories? Where do you want to be on the scale? And go after that. Don't just leave it to fate and chance that hopefully maybe someone catches a glimpse of you and thinks, oh, you know what? I like this guy. We should let him run a job. No, because if they don't know you don't want to run the job, you didn't build the right relationships, you didn't have the right target in mind, how could you possibly expect someone to think, hey, I'm going to give this guy what he's secretly been hoping for his entire life? And that's the sad part. I see a lot of friends that I grew up through the trades with that went through that same exact thing, and that was their mindset the whole time. And friends that were, went through their entire career, that are getting ready to retire, that were hoping the whole thing. And when they see me moving up into these positions, they were getting jealous. When I had a work truck, when they didn't. When I was running jobs, when they were working for me. And they used to be the ones teaching me. But you gotta have your goals. You gotta know what you want, when you want it, and what it's gonna take to get there. And you gotta build the relationships. You gotta tell the people that are gonna be able to put you in that position. So like, if you're an apprentice right now and your foreman is gonna be the best sponsor for you to get you to run jobs, and you need a sponsor to move up. You can't just be great and just move up magically, all right? You need a sponsor from somebody. So you have a foreman, and you want to be a foreman, all right? So you're going to have to be the best apprentice you can for this guy, the best tradesman you can for this foreman, because then it makes him appreciate you. It makes his job run better. It makes him look better. And so gracefully, he will gladly move you up into that position. position, because when a project manager comes to him and says, hey man, the business is growing, we need a new foreman, who's the best option for this? He's going to say, this guy's been killing it on my job, he's been telling me that he wants to be a foreman, he's been asking me what I do to run my jobs efficiently, and so I have mentored this kid to go into this position, so this guy is your man for the job. Think about the odds of that happening as opposed to you just keeping your head down, working, not talking to anybody and telling anybody anything or asking any questions, and that project manager coming to the foreman and asking, hey, who's the best person for this job? And here's the thing, most people, 95% of people don't give a shit. They wake up to go to work for money, to pay the bills so that they can live their pathetic existence, basically, because they have no goals, they have no dreams, they have no ambitions, nothing. And so if you are here right now listening to this podcast, that means that you are one of the few in the entire world, not just in your company, not just in the country, but in the whole world, that's taking the choice to take the time to build your passion, build your pride, build your work ethic to do better. So now if you're the one guy that's in your entire company doing this, the competition is damn near zero for you. So it's going to be a whole lot easier, as in you're not going to have to try and outwork a whole lot of people, but it's still not going to be easy. You're still going to have to work hard. You're still going to have to show up early. You're still going to have to be the last one to leave. You're still going to have to be the first one to come in on weekends. You're going to have to be the one that's going to put in the effort and be an A-team player for your A-team at this A-team company. Because your company needs people like you. They're not trying to keep you down. If you think your company is specifically trying to keep you down, keep you under the shit so that you don't move up, then you have just the wrong mindset. Nobody wants to keep people down. Think about it. Do you think your company wants to have you, just a worthless apprentice sitting there that they could be disposable and throw away at any time? Or would they rather have you as someone that is a valuable member of the team in whatever position that you had determined where you want to be the best, and they know that they will do anything to keep you, and then that even like a recession comes and they lay you off, they're gonna like do something to try and keep you on, so when work comes back that you go to them and not somebody else. They'll pay you a bonus or something like that, or help you out, you know. So companies want to be your family. They want to be a family that you're a part of. They want you to be an A-team player for it. You just got to be that player. You got to be the best you can for the team. And you got to set these goals. You got to have these ambitions. And you got to put in the effort. You got to put in the work every single day. Not just Monday, not just for the first 90 days, but for the first 6 years. And then as soon as you get in that position, set another goal. Maybe it's to be in the same position. Maybe you love that position, but maybe you want to be doing stuff better. Maybe you want to take on more jobs and be a more valuable person and make more money. And so set another goal. Always be chasing goals. Never get stagnant. Just sit there and become a lazy pud. All right? Because the second that you stop growing, the second you climax, you're done. Your life's over. You're already dying. If you aren't growing, you're dying. Okay? So set these goals. And it doesn't mean you have to keep on moving up the ladder. Because I'm going to be honest, all right? I loved being a foreman. I loved being a foreman of one project where I was able to have my guys there. I could just focus on the project. And I didn't have to worry about estimating a project or running a few projects or tons of other stuff. You know, I loved it. I could have happily stayed in that position. But I had already set my goals that I wanted to own my company. I wanted to revolutionize this industry. I wanted to have a company with a few hundred employees, you know. And so that's what I went after. And, you know, I could totally see someone that gets into a foreman position and says, hey, I want to stay here. I really like this. Well, that's great. Maybe now you can start running 2 projects. Maybe you can start helping the project manager to start taking a load off his hand. Maybe you can start running bigger projects. I'm going to tell you right now, running a $5,000 kitchen remodel is going to be a whole lot different than running a $10 million hospital new construction, right? And so you got to level up. You got to be where you want to be. Where do you see yourself? How do you want to get there? What are you going to do to get there? There's tons of opportunity. There's nothing but opportunity. That's what our last podcast was about, or one of the podcasts. There's nothing but opportunity. There is no lid. There is no limit to what you can do and where you can grow. All right? Maybe you want to be a specialist in something. something. Maybe you want to specialize specifically in testing fiber optic. Maybe you want to be that one guy that specifically does medical facilities because they're extra tricky or have extra codes to it. Maybe you want to be that guy that the call-to guy for your company for this certain project or a service call or something like that. You know, you just got to set your goal for you. Don't base it off other people. Please don't base it off money. Because believe me, if you love just being a tradesman, working and having the kind of like freedom to free think while you're just working, you know, and not have to run a project, but then you make the transition to try and go after a project manager position because you want to make the money of that. But what if you hate being a project manager? The stress just ruins your relationships, ruins your marriage. Your kids don't want to be around you. And you just hate your life, and you ultimately end up blowing your brains out. Was that worth it for the money? Because you couldn't handle the stress. It wasn't the right position for you. Don't chase the money. You know, chase what you can visually, like, close your eyes and picture yourself doing. You want to be that person. You want to chase after that dream. And guys, college, this is the beautiful thing about the trades, all right? College has nothing to do with it, all right? You can own a company. You can run somebody else's company. You can buy a company. You can be a vice president, an executive, a project manager, a foreman, apprentice, whatever the hell you want to be. You can do all of that without a single drop of college education and even without a high school diploma. So I'm not condoning dropping out, but man, I have friends that make a shitload of money that don't even have a high school diploma. And people say, oh, that was back in the day. These guys are like 35, 40 years old. That's not that long ago, all right? So if you have already dropped out, maybe you have your GED, you're just trying to find a place to where you can really grow and make something happen. Man, the trades is for anybody. It don't matter if you've been in prison, don't matter if you've dropped out, if you went to college, if you got a master's degree, it don't matter. It doesn't change anything. The only thing that's going to change your trajectory is how you view yourself and how much you're willing to put in for them goals you set. So please, guys, get the fuck out there, set some goals, get into the trades, find the trade for you if you haven't started already, make some shit happen, get out there, you know, kick some ass, set them goals, make it happen. If you aren't in the trades already, get in the trades and just get going, man. Don't just look from the sidelines and cheer for people like me. Get your ass in there and start doing it yourself. It's fun, it's awesome. Take pride in it, take passion in what you do. Be the best at what you can do, because man, I tell you, there's nothing better in life than finding something you're passionate about and people having to tell you to take a day off instead of you wishing you had today off. Alright, so get out there, kill it. Leave something in the comments what you guys want to see on the next one. Any tips, tricks, whatever the hell it is. Follow me on Instagram, Luke C. Marcotte. Make sure you subscribe, share, tell your friends about it. Anybody you know that might be looking to get into the trades. I'm doing this for you guys. It's totally free, so please share it. Get the word out there. If this is on the podcast, make sure you leave a 5-star review. Leave us a cool review below. That helps us get found by other people, you know. And again, calling this on the road again just because I'm too busy to sit down and actually get it recorded. Sorry I haven't been putting it out, but like I said, I was sick and I've been working so much. So I'll do this whenever I get a chance, or don't get the chance to sit down and record an episode. But I know it's not as good a quality, so I'll try to do this as minimal as possible. But guys, one thing too, there's a few other podcasts from blue collar people. There's a few other people you can try and learn from, whatever it is. But these people aren't doing it full time, all right? I'm here. I'm working right now. I'm working every single day, Monday through Sunday. I'm making the dream come true. And so I'm a person that's doing it right now, that's actually going through the shit, that can best describe this to you guys in a way that, you know, that anybody could. I'm not somebody in a classroom or whatever, and not just saying on schools or anything, but I'm just saying, like, I can't be putting out top-notch quality, I guess, all the time, because I have shit to do. I have a real business to run. And so this is going to be the realest advice you could probably ever get, because I am doing the shit today, here, and right now. I have achieved goals. I have done crazy stuff, and I'm not going to downplay that, okay? Like, I look back at what my goals were and how I killed them more than I thought. I'm like, damn, that's pretty crazy. I'm excited to see what's next, though. And so I hope you guys take some of this advice, because believe me, I have had tons of setbacks in my life. I've had tons of things that I was born with that put me down, put me under, made me believe that I wasn't able to do it, and I did it. So if I'm able to do it, any single one of you motherfuckers could do it. And I mean that any single one of you can do it. I'm no different than you guys. So get out there, kill it, tell your friends about it, and we'll see you on the next one.